Are you happy? It feels somewhat like a leading question. I mean, it is. I was told I was supposed to put an audience question at the start of this, sort of relate to you all. And it's going to lead into something, because what I want to talk to you about today is exactly why so many people in our society and in our school and in our country in general and in the world are unhappy. And why I personally have a very strong belief that all our unhappiness is simply constructed in our minds and is no way meaningful. It's no way a really meaningful depiction of reality in our human condition. So to better understand this, I want to have a look at human sociology. Our society seems to act in such a way that we as humans have an instinct to survive. No matter what philosophical theory is put forth or psychological theory is put forth about how the mind works, everyone agrees that humans must somewhat have an instinct to survive. And so we act in a way that all our behaviors must be viewed through either a lens of survival or profit. You can see this looking around today. Everybody seems very serious, and that's why I love people watching, and I encourage you all to do the same. Don't interact with these people that you watch. Just simply be a part of it and watch as people walk past, focused on either survival or profit. Our entire society seems to be filled with these two people. All these people focus on one or two things, survival or profit. If it doesn't benefit either, it mustn't be good. And these are the most drab, dull, grey, unhappy, boring people you will ever encounter. But why is this? Why do we feel that we must go on? It's ultimately from a place of discontent and hope in the future. All our lives have been raised with a very westernized belief that all good things take time and effort. And because we view happiness as the ultimate good thing, the ultimate good life, we feel that all our struggles and all our unhappiness is leading towards something better. This can be viewed in many aspects of our society, in quotes, in movies and songs, and pretty much everything in our society. One particularly offending example, which I have a very big problem with, is the quote, "Oh, it's all downhill from here." If you want to describe a situation as going poorly, we say it's all downhill from here. I despise that quote because it acts as if uphill is somehow good and downhill is bad. When in reality, if you ever walked ever, you know that downhill is amazing and uphill is where the struggle's at. But no, we must view uphill as this sort of struggle to some better life, this good life. We think that because we struggle going uphill, that's a good thing. We view life as a journey towards happiness, and we put hope in the future in order to make ourselves feel better today. If we're not happy today, we say to ourselves that we're happy in the future. The present is an incomprehensibly tiny gap between the past, which determines ourselves and makes us who we are, and the future in which our happiness and ultimate end goals lie, waiting to be achieved by us in due time. Maybe tomorrow, we say. And when tomorrow comes, nothing happens. Maybe the day after. Maybe next week I'll be happy. Next year. How about 5 years more? Then I'll be happy. And all this struggle and this malbelief is fueled by this truly horrific view of time we possess. We simultaneously say to ourselves that we are both a result of the past and that we cannot change the past. Well, if this is what you believe, naturally, you would figure that you cannot change the present. But the past doesn't drive the future any more than your footsteps propel you forward. The past is simply an image of who you once were. It does not determine the future, and it does not determine the present either. And yet we find ourselves all with a deep-seated belief in each of us that we cannot do anything about the future, turning us all into a depraved society of future worshippers, all our hope resting on tomorrow. But only losers put hope in the future. Time changes nothing. Nothing will magically get better. Not if we don't stop regarding ourselves as creations of the past, and not if we don't stop viewing our unhappiness as a necessary component to achieve our eventual happiness. For as long as we self-impose challenges and say such delirious statements as, "I must get this job, then I will be happy," or "I must get married, then I will be happy," nothing will change, because that is very regrettably simply the way society is structured. When we like to put people down or shun people, we say about them, "Oh, it has no future." When we put down a terminally ill dog, we say, "Oh, but he has no future, he must go." But do any of we have a future? It's much better to have a present, because what good is a future without a present? Futures without a present is like wearing glasses without eyes. Because by the time the future comes, which you've been hoping for all this time, you're going to be worrying about something else in the future, and you're not going to be living in it. Humans are remarkably backwards at times. We complain about self-imposed problems, yet we also feel wrong when there are no problems, particularly when we are bored. Being bored is an awful thing, we say in our society, because of the absence of stimuli and an absence of productivity and a waste of time. But what other creature self-imposes himself with a myriad of problems, complains about it, and then further complains when there are no problems? With this mindset, it's really no wonder that a lot of people view life as suffering. I'd like to give you all a thought experiment in this general sort of theme. So suppose you die and you go to heaven an angel. And in heaven there is the greatest array of pleasures you can ever imagine. Any pleasure you can imagine, heaven has. It is the greatest form of happiness for any human being. It is all good, it is all safe, it's all peaceful, all eternal. and you're simply enthralled by these options of everything that you can do. And so for many days, weeks, even a couple months, you find yourself infinitely engaging in these pleasures, having as much fun as you possibly can, such as no mortal would ever dream of. But one day you say to God, well, this is all very good, but I'm feeling a little bit bored. Once I've had every positive experience I can possibly have, there isn't really much to do here. And well, I'm here for eternity, so how do I fill the time? And God says, aha, and he takes you to a special corner of heaven where there is a box, much like a coffin perhaps. What is it, you say? The sensation machine, God says. Simply enter the box and you can have any experience you could possibly want. Unlike in the rest of heaven, you can feel pain, you can suffer, and you can sin, and you can experience any negative emotion you could possibly dream of. You can live the life of any person to ever exist, or any animal, or you can imagine your entire own scenario. Aha, you say. It's perfect, God, thank you. And so you enter the box, and you choose to experience anything at all, for any length of time, any emotion, any feeling, any pain, any suffering, any sin. You might, for example, choose to live the life of a peasant in medieval Europe, or a great king. Or you might imagine yourself as a great valiant knight slaying dragons and rescuing princesses, or engaging in noble battles with great beasts of the ocean. You might even choose to jump into lava purely to know what it feels like, because when you were on when you were on Earth for all those years, you never did get to know how that felt like. But now you can feel it. After all, if you were to die in the simulation, the sensation machine, you would simply wake back up in heaven, nice and safe. But none of these experiences truly feel real, because all this pain is simulated. You choose to live the life of a widow and feel heartbreak in exactly the same way she did, but all the time you would know it is a simulation, you can end it at any point. You'd have that feeling at the back of your mind that none of this is real, that all this is constructed by the mind, and you can end it at any point and be happy. And so one day you say to yourself, today I'm going to simulate a reality in such a way that I do not know it is a simulation, and to the point of where I feel real pain and suffering and anguish. And so you enter the machine, and you choose to live the life of a person in the 21st century, saying to yourself that the simulation will end once you die. You want to feel real pain. Well, how do you know that isn't you? How do you know you're not already in heaven and you're making a hell out of it? Why? Boredom? To feel something? Why do we do this to ourselves? And I'm not going to act like it's easy to abandon these westernized teachings when you've been clinging to your entire life and that you've been raised on. It's comforting to excuse our struggle on the basis of a hope in the future. And as I said, linking back to the heaven analogy, I personally think that all of us have the great potential to be happy very simply, but we construct a hell out of our experience. There's nothing inherently wrong with the world that should lead us to be unhappy, but we want to feel something. We can't be bored. It's better to suffer than to be bored, essentially. But once you genuinely realize that all this struggle is constructed and lies in a delirious hope in the future, and that the only way to fix anything is to be internally present in the now, your life will be all downhill from there. Thank you.